Hey folks, today is Friday, June 20th, 2025. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. And we're firing up the rumor mill first and foremost with this crazy news. Sony potentially eyeing a purchase of some of Warner Brothers. Is PlayStation now going to have an iron grip on gaming properties and franchises like Mortal Kombat and NetherRealm, and of course, Harry Potter video games, DC, Batman video games, and more? Well, let's look into it. While yes, there is a massive gaming angle to this, Warner Brothers' whole gaming wing is huge, despite fumbles. This is a whole thing. This is essentially Sony buying a chunk of Warner Brothers. This comes from SE Scoops, a website I will admit I don't know too much about, and from what I see, they are mostly a wrestling-focused website, reporting and breaking news in the wrestling world, but it seems like they got an entertainment world scoop if this is legit. The quote is, Sony is considering a purchase of Warner Bros. Discovery's streaming and other assets. Sources have told SE Scoops that Sony is considering a purchase of the newly announced WBD Streaming and Studios company, which is expected to complete its separation from Warner Bros. Discovery Global Networks by mid-2026. Sony is interested in acquiring HBO Max streaming service, IPs, and its gaming assets. There you have it. And honestly, this is the only source. I couldn't find this corroborated by any other websites or entertainment world websites or anything like that. So it's interesting that this got over to this site. So take this all with a grain of salt. It is still a rumor, of course, but it's interesting. I also think that it is possibly a result of, the whole Warner Brothers Discovery changes and overhaul things going down lately. A lot of companies probably coming sniffing around, just essentially eyeing possibilities of acquisitions. All companies do this. A lot of big companies are always constantly running the numbers and running math and doing reports on what they could buy and what it would look like. Is this concrete? We don't know yet, and I think that's partially because it hasn't hit the major entertainment trades yet. I really don't know how much we're going to see of this. I do think it's interesting, and I don't think it's completely out of this world. Sony, of course, has been looking to buy and has bought many things in the past. But something like this will be pretty massive. Again, a lot of the Warner Brothers stuff is still ongoing, is still going down. So this, if it is true, it might not happen for a while. But as of right now, I don't know. I think this is totally up in the air. I would not take this as like concrete proof or anything like that. But if you want to read up on it and decide for yourself, click the link in the description down below. Like all my sources and everything I talk about are all down there. Hey, now before we keep going, this video is brought to you by our longtime sponsor, Vessie. If you're new to our videos, you gotta know Vessie is the sneaker sensation that's been sweeping the nation. No, that's not the official catchphrase. I just came up with it, but essentially, these are just dependable, awesome shoes. They come in a variety of different shapes, colors, sizes for every person, every situation. But check out one of their dependable go-tos here. This is the Weekend. If you're looking for something simple but cool, this is just like a court-style sneaker that is super lightweight. They're easy to wear right at your back door. They also slip on really nicely, which is huge. But all of Vessie's footwear are 100% waterproof, but it doesn't feel like a waterproof shoe. Still, it makes you completely free to do whatever you want. We've talked in the past about how great these things are outdoors, in the woods, in the mud, wherever, but also, if you're out on the town, in the city, step in a puddle right off the curb, you have the confidence of knowing that you're totally fine. You don't need to get a new pair of socks. I've been saying this for a while, but that really is a game changer. To step in puddles, get caught in the rain, and not really have to worry about a thing, that's huge. So, if you want to check these bad boys out, all their different styles, shapes, colors, including the Weekend, all you gotta do is click the link in the description down below or head to vessie.com/gameranx to get 15% off your first pair of Vessies. There's a QR code screen, like on screen here too, if you want to get it in that way. But again, that is vessie.com/gameranx for 15% off your first pair. And big thanks to Vessie for sponsoring our videos. Now let's get back to the news. Speaking of Sony, Sony of course owns Bungie. Bungie has now officially announced that they are delaying Marathon. Yes, their big live service extraction shooter game was slated to release this September. It has now been delayed with no actual release date in sight, just delayed with more news closer to the fall, with a detailed blog post saying that it's a direct response to a lot of feedback from the alpha, with them tweaking gameplay concepts, loot, art. Obviously, they had that whole stolen art scandal, more AI improvements, a lot of stuff. But that begs the question, is this enough? Is this enough to make Marathon better, but also just give it some appeal. Because from what I can see, just like scouring the internet, it still just seems like Marathon has not really taken off with people personally. I have actually been able to play quite a bit of this game, a work in progress of it, and I think it's fine. It's competent. It's got some fun moments, but I still think it's missing something. I think it's just missing that overall fun hook and that creativity, that really interesting stuff that Bungie is known for. I didn't really see that here. Now, that begs the question. Is that something that you can add in when you delay a game for 6 months or a year? I don't know. But it seems like they are talking about working on a lot. So we're just going to have to wait and see. It's probably going to be a minute before we hear anything. So we'll just have to see how it goes. A lot of people are speculating that this is just inevitably leading to it being canceled. I have no way of knowing. I can't predict these corporations. God knows, who knows. But if they can right the ship and actually put out a game that's good and people want, I'm going to root for that. Still, we have no idea. They said they're going to double down also on the more Marathon elements of the game, which I think is good because the original Marathon is cool. That IP is unique. And this new modern Marathon just kind of feels like an extraction shooter with some kind of like random sci-fi stuff stapled on it. So I'm curious to see if they can right this ship. But we're just going to have to wait and see. It's probably going to be a minute. Also, check this out. This is just a really cool game that was announced, interestingly enough, on its own time. Not during last week's all like summer Game Fest chaos and announcements and PlayStation Direct and Xbox thing. This is Blood Message. This is gorgeous. This is apparently a new game running in Unreal Engine 5, and it takes place in China during the real-world event of the Dunhuang uprisings in 848 AD. But this, to me, looks very much like a kind of cinematic, fantastical adventure. I'm glad we got to see some gameplay here, because not only graphically does the game look incredible from, yes, visually, graphics, art design, art direction, all that, but it looks very much like a heavily inspired kind of like an ancient Uncharted style adventure with lots of big action set pieces and big moments, solving puzzles, and some combat. The combat to me kind of looks a little bit like modern God of War style combat, but like overall, whatever it is, this just looks cool as hell. And it's not just some like flashy trailer from something you've never heard of before. It's got something to back it up. It's NetEase and 24 Entertainment. This is the folks behind Naraka Blade Point, which, you know, didn't really take off as much in the West, but is a big multiplayer live service game. But it's cool that now they're taking all that live service cash and just making what seems to be a big old action-adventure cinematic thing, because I like these types of games. Eastern developers seem like they're just continuing to rise up. Hopefully the bar is raised for everybody. I think this is pretty cool. I think this looks like a pretty cool project. Again, this is called Blood Message, but it certainly made a splash when people first saw the trailer. As of right now, it's just slated coming soon to consoles and PC. Next up, in case you missed it, Xbox made some big announcements. They are officially once again partnering with AMD now to make their next generation consoles. So yes, Xbox is not exiting the hardware game. They are once again working with AMD, who did the chipset stuff for the previous Xboxes for the next generation. It also comes as no surprise because also their handheld they announced like last week or so, the collab with Asus, the ROG Ally X, that also is running like the newest AMD mobile chip. So this announcement, you can watch it for yourself, like just the language around it. It seems like they're really emphasizing Windows and the spread of Windows in the future, making Windows the thing for gaming, using possibly Xbox as like the Trojan horse for that. That's my theory. And, you know, there's a lot of speculation with VGC Video Games Chronicle saying that there's potential that this next Xbox really is going to be like this open Windows device that's going to be able to have games from all different storefronts. I'm curious to see how that all pans out. Xbox has been making a lot of interesting moves in that direction. But for now, if you want to read up on that or watch the thing for yourself, like I said, it's all linked down there. Next up, Nintendo did a whole big direct for Donkey Kong Bonanza, and holy shit, I don't know, I just think this looks cool. Just good, simple, good, clean fun, man, featuring a giant monkey. We know Donkey Kong Bonanza is coming pretty soon, July 17th, and we got a full detailed gameplay look, lots of fun different features, the ZBrush kind of being a thing. Also the fact that the game is heavily featuring like a little Pauline riding on DK's shoulders, which I think is just possibly pretty interesting and fun as long as she's not annoying. I think there's a lot of creativity here. I'm excited to see how this goes. I did get to play this at a hands-on event a couple months back, and it seemed fun. I'm just curious to see how they can carry that destructive formula through an entire game. I think it has a lot of potential. And honestly, I have the Nintendo Switch 2 and I'm just waiting for the bangers to drop. Speaking of bangers to drop, did you guys see this? In a London tube station, Nintendo Switch advertisements were plastered on the walls, featuring one that blew up the internet overnight. It was a Metroid Prime 4 banner that said "out now," leading everyone to freak out and think, was this a mistake? Does this mean the game's coming soon? Is Nintendo shadow dropping it? That doesn't seem to be the case. From IGN, Nintendo has confirmed to IGN that the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond advert currently at Oxford Circus in London is incorrect, and the game still lacks an official release date. We can confirm that the "out now" message on this advert is incorrect. I almost had like a heart attack. That like almost got me, because that would have been awesome if it was suddenly coming very soon. It seems like it was mostly supposed to be advertising that the Switch 2 is out now, and there was like some cross mix up with the art or whatever. But yeah, I guess we're still waiting for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. This is another one I played at a preview event, and I am so excited for it. As of right now, I have the Nintendo Switch 2, and I consider, like Nintendo's problems aside, I essentially look at having this device now. It's like, oh, I got my Metroid Prime 4 machine early. It was just crazy to see. Like, Nintendo fans are such interesting people. I love that so many people like rushed to this tube station to take a photo or take a video of it. I just appreciate stuff like that. The gaming world never ceases to amaze me, especially when just like weird stuff like this happens. At least in London, they're like cool underground stations are getting like cool Metroid ads. In New York, we just got Pizza Rat. God bless him, though. We love him. Also, I've been kind of in the dark now. I've been like avoiding any more Metal Gear Solid Delta news because it's like a hardcore weirdo. I'm just ready to just dive in and see how it is for myself. But Konami did unveil a little bit of that multiplayer mode they teased. It's called Fox Hunt mode, and it's apparently not like Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence Online or Metal Gear 4 Online or anything like that. It's like something new they tried to work in that heavily features the camouflage system. But even though they had this featurette video, they really did not reveal a lot of details about it. Still, it is officially a thing, and I'm excited to see what the hell it actually is. Now, in terms of games releasing this week, last week, of course, don't miss, there was a bunch like Dune Awakening and The Alters that were keeping us busy, but this week we have Rematch, which is the football/soccer game from Slow Clap, the people behind one of my favorite games, Sifu. I'm really excited to check this one out at some point because they just have a good way of rethinking gameplay, animation, and movement and physics in a way that's interesting, and applying that to sports is pretty cool. Also releasing this week is FBC Firebreak. This is the newest game from Remedy. This is like a spin-off offshoot. It's a multiplayer shooter, a PvE co-op game set in the world of Control, where it's kind of like a Left 4 Dead, Deep Rock kind of Helldivers thing where you're running around trying to fix stuff and fight off the hiss. It is not perfect. I had some issues with it, but in short bursts, I found it to be a good time. It's something, if you have PS Plus or Xbox Game Pass, maybe that's how you check it out, but it certainly didn't keep me entertained forever. But I did have some fun with it. I don't know, judge for yourself. At the very least, Remedy is very quickly seemingly jumping on feedback and updating some things, because some of my biggest complaints with this were progression stuff, and it seems like they're pretty on the ball with adjusting that. So keep your eyes peeled on that. And again, if you want to check out the before you buy and just see some gameplay, that's linked below. Also, in terms of stuff we made this week, we also did a Switch 2 durability test. It's a really dumb video. We just kind of covered a Switch with Mountain Dew and Doritos and dropped it a couple of times because some people make these durability tests so technical, like these big crazy YouTube channels, that we just tried to do some real world dumb stuff to it. It was painful. And I know in the video I said like gameranx forced me to do that video. People got mad. That's not like really the case. I was kind of exaggerating, but either way, we did sacrifice a Switch. We weren't happy about doing it, but we did it, and it seems like people appreciated it. Thanks for the feedback. Also, it's been a minute since we heard anything about Battlefield 6, but thankfully EA did kind of come out and assure us that there is still an announcement of this game coming this summer. Some people were really thinking June, but EA had never really confirmed anything for June, just this summer, and they have once again said, yes, the announcement is coming this summer. Some people were kind of messaging me, like asking for news about it. Not like I'm the Battlefield guy or anything like that, but yeah, nothing yet, but at the very least, we know a game announcement is coming this summer. Very curious to see what Battlefield can do now in the wake of live service, multiplayer, all that stuff really, really shifting. And after Battlefield 2042, all that stuff curious to see how this goes down. But no date yet officially. But we just figured for some of you guys out there, I don't know, maybe keep it in your back pocket. Something coming soon. Who knows? But that's it this week. Got to get back to work. Big review, big before you buy coming next week. I'm working on it all weekend, so keep your eyes peeled early next week for something cool. But for now, let me know what you think in the comments about everything. Bungie, of course, delaying Marathon. How could they possibly make Marathon better for you? What would keep you interested? Sony buying Warner Brothers or Warner Brothers IP. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. Xbox with AMD, that platform change. Donkey Kong Bananza, seeing some more gameplay of that. What do you think? Let's talk about any of this stuff down in the comments. Hit us up down there. Things get a little crazy though, so if you ever want to yell at me directly, you can always find me on Instagram, Twitter, at Jake Baldino, all those places. Search on YouTube, youtube.com/Jake Baldino, where I talk about other stuff. I go more in depth, so hit me up. But that's it. Like I said, keep your eyes peeled next week for some good stuff. That's all I got for you. I'm Jake Baldino. I'm here every Friday. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Pizza's on me.